Hi, my friends. Welcome to the channel of If Rumi Was English. If you're here, it means you're an enthusiast of Rumi's poems and his spiritual wisdom. Today, we're going to continue reading and interpreting Rumi's poem in Reed-flute's notes from his most famous book, Masnavi Manavi. In the verses I interpret today, Rumi will show us how to start a spiritual journey using his book. Stay awakened, because it's coming up. This is the sixth part of the series. To check the previous episodes, click up here. If your lips truly touch the reeds, it will bring you lots of good reads. Here Rumi poetically asks his readers to be a decent companion to this reed, which is in fact Rumi himself or his wisdom, and to start harmonizing their conscience with his wisdom by blowing in this reed with their lips, so that the reed or Rumi sings and tells them enlightening stories. So primarily, Rumi just wants you to put your heart and soul into reading the Masnavi, so you can actually benefit from it. When someone loses their chummy buddies, they get mute with too many melodies. This verse sounds very simple on the surface, but it in fact completes the meaning of the previous verse. And what it deeply means is that the same way that Rumi was able to make his deep mystic connections to divine love, to be able to spiritually sense and hear divine mysteries, you have to also make close friendship with divine love or Rumi's wisdom to be able to hear mystical, enlightening stories. Otherwise, divine wisdom will be just like a human who lost all his close friends and he's got no one to tell his enlightening stories. When the roses in the garden are withered, you do not hear the trill of any songbird. A Sufi or mystic will teach his findings only to people who are honestly interested in spiritual beliefs, the same way that a songbird sits only near to roses and sings only to the beautiful flowers in a garden. It's all the beloved and it's eternal, but the lover's just a covering mortal. The beloved here is Almighty God, and lover is someone who believes in God and loves to take on the spiritual journey, basically a mystic newbie. So in this verse, Rumi is simply telling the enthusiasts of the spiritual way that it's only their ego or their body, represented by covering mortal, that makes a distance between them and Almighty God. When the lover lacks the beloved's caring love, she is like a wingless and featherless dove. When the lovers lose the support and caring love of God, they will fail to fly their spiritual journey as if they lost their wings. We have to notice that Rumi here is pointing to the God's special caring love towards his real lovers. Otherwise, God will always shine its general love on all its creatures. The concept of God's special love versus its general love is derived from the starting sentence of the Quran, or rather any chapter in Quran, which is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, often translated as in the name of God, compassionate and merciful. The keywords here are Rahman and Rahim, and as pointed by most Islamic interpreters, the former points to God's love as in its general form, covering all the creatures with no exception, On the other hand, the latter points to the God's love in its more specific and caring form, covering only God's special creatures who obey Him and do good deeds. So Rumi continues singing, "Do we know how to move around if its light doesn't brighten the ground?" A poetic example here illustrating that the light of God, which is in fact God's special caring love and attention, is needed for the lovers of the spiritual path to truly and safely reach their target. Now I'm gonna read and interpret the next two verses together as they meaning-wise are closely related. Love wants to set this secret free outright. Your soul must mirror the beloved's light. Do you know why our soul isn't a mirror? Because the dirt of sin makes it unclear. I guess these two verses are pretty self-explanatory. If you want the true inner guidance in spiritual journey, or if you want your intuition to correctly lead you to divine love, your soul must be free of egoistic sins and greedy desires. That way, you can truly absorb and reflect the God's special love and illuminate your own spiritual path and others. Otherwise, the dirt of sin makes your soul dirty, and it won't be able to completely and correctly absorb and reflect the divine love. In the end, I gotta make it clear that according to the verses I just covered in this part, Rumi wants us to be a good friend or listener to his wisdom in his book, The Masnavi. And he asks us to prepare our soul to learn his mystical wit by avoiding excessive greediness and by staying away from sins, so that we have a clean soul that can reflect the God's light and can brighten a road to happiness.